listening to Snuff, Magee and Friends. Irrelevance in the dungeon.
Snuff, Magee and Friends. Here we go. Snuff, Magee and Friends. Snuff, Magee and Friends. Snuff, Magee and Friends. Snuff, Magee and...
Snuff, Magee and Friends, Irrelevance in the Dungeon, episode 13. I am Snuff Magee, joined by...
It's your boy Kel.
Tony Vaughan.
Mariah Lachey.
All right, how y'all doing today?
We good, brother. How you?
All right, how was your week?
It's over.
Uneventful. If I'm being honest, you know.
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Got to the weekend. That's what's up.
That's it.
This is a very, very special episode because this is the trifecta, as I call it.
Yeah.
3 podcasts in one. You know, we got Irrelevance in the Dungeon. I Can't Call It podcast. And yes, we Articulate podcast.
Yep.
And I'll start with you, Kel. And when did you start your podcast, man?
I wouldn't. Shoot, let me see. It's probably been, what's this, June? So maybe March, April-ish. Jumped in there, man, and just wanted to do something different. Wanted to try something that I never did before, and I felt like I had opinions that people, should hear. That sounds a little bit cocky, but you should hear what I have to say.
Yourself.
Yeah, there we go, exactly. I'm sure of myself, so it was just something that I wanted to do for me, you know what I'm saying? And so far, so good.
Now, with me, like, people ask me all the time, do I listen to a lot of podcasts? I really don't. I mean, I do listen to Breakfast Club sometimes with Joe Budden, but I have friends that listen, all they do is listen to podcasts.
That's me. Yep, that's me. In my car all the time, I have a list, so I can go down. The read is one for, like, gossip stuff, but then I also listen to, like, a lot of self-care, so Hey Girl by Alex L., and then a lot of investigative journalism ones.
But notice, she tried to clean it up, but she started with the petty one first.
That's the one she listens to all the time.
That's what's on in the car right there.
Yeah, she was like, I do the messy, but also investigative journalism. Yeah.
Once a month, I like to go ahead and pick up one of these.
I dabble.
So what, I mean, so your motivation pretty much, you had things that people pretty much should hear?
Yeah, man, you listen, like I said, I listen to podcasts a lot, and I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, and on those comedy podcasts, often they're just talking about current events and shit like that, and making it funny. And, like, that's what me and my homies do anyway, so why can't we have a voice out there, too? So, went out there and did it.
Now, the feedback been positive so far?
Yeah, man, so far so good. We've been on a little hiatus the past couple weeks. What up, Tone? Get back with me, brother. But, quick shout out. And Amber Alert, whatever. Shout out to Amber Alert. Y'all see my boy, Tell him holler at me. But the feedback, man, it was really good. And it's, like I said, man, it's something that I love to do. I love to talk, honestly. And so it's right up my alley.
No doubt. And this is your second appearance?
Yes, sir.
And
I had a ball the first time. So excited when he wanted me back.
Yo, no doubt. I'm getting older, man. I can't remember the episode, but I know we had a ball. It was you, Pook, and C. Ferris.
Yeah, man. That was legendary.
So, we're cutting a commercial. Another commercial.
Let's do it.
I'm just letting y'all know.
Oh, are we really?
Yeah, we're cutting a commercial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
All
Good
right.
stuff, man.
So, yes, we Articulate.
Yes, we're the duo.
Run by the same questions between y'all two.
Yeah.
So, what made you start the podcast?
So we started, I think, in like early 2019, but we have been always, so me and Tony have always had these like a lot to say, philosophical conversations. He is, and I'm sure you follow him on Facebook, he always has an opinion about everything, and we'll go back and forth with people about it.
I would say any and everything.
Yes, there you go, that clarity.
Yeah, and I think you came to me, last summer and was like, it was one of my posts, and it was like, you need to have a podcast.
You do. I was like, you
always
need to have a
talking.
podcast.
Yeah. So, I played around with the idea, and I was like, yeah, but I ain't want to go into it alone, and she has, she's been doing great things, always, like community activist, really passionate about giving back, and just, she's very articulate.
I'm the academic.
Yeah.
So anytime, Tony, I'm from New York, and for a while, it was in out of college.
Yeah.
He came to New York and stayed up there. And I remember every evening we would get into a debate about something. Because I've always had things to say.
Any
and
like memorable ones?
Do you remember any?
I don't remember.
Y'all gotta have a good one.
I can't remember what I'm talking about. I just remember you being like, I thought I set the bar high for the family. You know, like I thought I set the bar pretty high. You know, always got good grades, did well in school, never really got any trouble. And when I went to New York, I saw that she was like, and before she got to middle school, she was playing the violin, getting straight A's. She getting like got accepted to this school, and then for high school, she got a full scholarship to a boarding school in Philadelphia. And then she comes and get a full ride to U of R. And I was like, then she graduated from U of R and is going to VCU, getting a master's, and like doing all this stuff. I'm like, damn. Like, all the stuff I did.
I'm like, damn man.
But he's always, even though he's not that much older, he's always been an inspiration. So I was always sitting in the cut watching, like, okay, he went to college. I'm going to go to college, too.
Motivation.
But knowing our debate, it was probably something about women or black people. Because that's typically my hot button issue.
The best two arguments. How are y'all related, by the way?
First cousin.
Oh, that's the best.
My mom and his mom are sisters.
So we just put it together, said we're going to, come together and voice our opinions and do something. And we threw around names, and the one that really stuck was Yes, We're Articulate, and trying to take something negative that, white people may say about black people and say, yeah, you're right, we are. And what? So that's why we came up with the name.
We know words.
Nothing more dangerous.
I mean, I like the shirts. I like them a lot.
Cool. You bought one?
Oh,
I'm
we
waiting.
got you.
Oh, okay. I was like, you want one?
We got you. We got you.
Those are called
speaking
clues.
I picked up
Speaking of shirts, I can never remember the name of the website, but it is.
It's Yes We're Articulate at Shopify.com.
Yeah, I got both of y'all, man. I got both of y'all.
So.
Just hit me with the size and let me know.
Got you.
Yeah,
I still gotta get my Snuff Magee get. Every time I see him, we say it.
We have shirts. We have shirts available for all.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
That's what they say,
First of all, we had so much fun last time. We forgot.
That's
don't act like
we'll just put it like that. Yeah.
Don't act like
What's missing from last time? Those solo cups. That's probably why y'all had such a good time.
Well, this is still here.
We're trying to get better. We're trying to do better.
He's trying to do better. I gotta be me.
I ain't mad at you.
So how's the feedback been so far?
I think it's been good. I think we are learning a lot along the way. So we have been doing the YouTube thing, but I think we're gonna switch platforms a little bit. And I think just the key is becoming just more consistent and putting content. We live in a time where people you gotta constantly put out content. Yeah. And so that's something we're working on doing. But I would say the reception has been mostly positive.
What I like about it is that for those people that, you have corporate Tony and then put this content out there and people were like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, hence the Snuff Magee.
Yeah. So it's been good for people to kind of see that other side, and have an avenue to actually express that other side outside of just my Facebook rant. So I think the feedback's been good. People have listened to it that I didn't think would listen to it, and so that goes to show you that people enjoy it and like it. So I'm looking forward to keep going.
I was nervous about it because my thing is, as someone who listens to a lot of podcasts and knows that there are a lot of podcasts out there, at first I was like, why somebody gonna listen to ours, right? Like, you got 1,000,001 podcasts you can listen to. But one thing I heard is, if you do it because you enjoy it, then other people just going follow along if they match the vibe, So you don't have to think about creating it for other people. Create it because you and Tony want to talk about stuff, and then that will come.
I mean, and that's the thing with us. We don't want to water it down.
Right.
Sometimes we might get a little too out of pocket, and the disclaimer will come. It may come tonight.
Okay, whatever.
Views do not represent Snuff Again friends.
He said that about me a couple times when I was over here. I got a lot of hot takes.
Yeah, but it's all fun, man. I really enjoy it. With the YouTube, we put it out there, we shortened it up, but truth be told, I like the audio. That's in the car, I listen to it, and when I'm listening to myself, normally, you know how you judge yourself? Yeah. I enjoy it all, so that's the good thing about it.
I'm definitely the opposite. Video, I like to see, read your body language when you saying what you saying, so I can, that helps me understand it better.
Is he just saying
exactly.
Can I see it in his eyes?
No, for real. Exactly. Does he mean these jokes?
That's the judgmental Cam. He just looking like,
Definitely.
That nigga Waylon.
That's a fact. That's me. That's me.
No doubt, man. Look, let's go ahead and run into the Irrelevance in the Dungeon, man. We're gonna start with the politics, man. I was giving a tone earlier with the, we had the Morrissey dance thing going down the last few weeks in this area, and Morrissey did pull that one off. We were supposed to have him on the show.
Oh, really?
We got to me.
We were, keeping trying to keep it
PC.
Yes, we're articulate.
Well, let me just go ahead and.
But yeah, man, he did the no show on us, and I was giving a tone about Waylon. I didn't realize he was such a young guy, and also didn't know that he worked for Morrissey as an aide, and he's running as an independent. How do you feel about his chances?
It's interesting, man. For some reason, black people support Morrissey, man. He's a lawyer. He probably helped a lot of people out when they were in a tough jam. And that gets you support in the hood, man. Personally, I can't get past, the whole, 17-year-old girl issue. But I think, and we were talking about this before, I think with Waylon, man, I just like that he's a young brother that's involved in the political process, and whether he wins or not, he's trying to change the change the course of politics, man. He's really trying to push the envelope and change things, man. And we always talk about millennials in particular that they talk a lot but they don't want to do nothing. And he wants to do something, man. So he's running. I think Morrissey's not going to get a whole lot of support from the Democratic Party just because of his past. And so that gives Waylon an avenue to get some support from the party itself. But I think he's taking it upon himself to say, I'm gonna run this race how I want to run it. If Joe wants to get in the gutter, I'm ready to get in the gutter with him. And he's a homegrown boy from Petersburg, man, and I think that's going to get him a lot of support. It's just, can he get it beyond Petersburg? Is going to be the key. And will it get so far in the gutter that people, just wash their hands and say, I ain't going to get out and vote because I don't want to deal with either one of them. I'm going to support him because I'm kind of anti-Joe. I just could never. I just based on his past, based on his history in politics, I just can't support him. And like I said, I like to see a young dude going against the system, going against the grain, getting involved, and get past some of the stuff that he's doing on social media. That's the way he wants to run his campaign, so be it. But I think when you get to the issues of things, he's talking the right stuff, man. He has the right plan, and he wants to give back to the community. I think he said that like 50% of the money that he's taking in from his campaign is gonna go right back out to kind of help people, and that's what you want to hear, man. And it's like I said, I keep coming back to it. He's a young brother, homegrown, that is really trying to do something, man. And you got to support that, man.
And I think it's about representation. Like, I think, I'll speak a little bit about how he's choosing to use his, platform. But I think just, again, him being young, him being black, him being from Petersburg shows other people, like, oh, he's doing this, I could potentially get into politics. Exactly. Now, I do wonder, because he has been so, how he's using social media, I do wonder if he, will alienate the Democratic Party, right? So you said that Morrissey isn't going to get that support, and I just don't want him to be in a situation where he also doesn't get that support, because if he's running on a campaign where he is making all those promises, he does have to have something to leverage and people backing him to want to get that done. So not that I'm not for all the things that he's saying, but I just want to make sure he's being thoughtful about, I don't want to burn every bridge that I have because I'm this young person trying to tweet and all that other stuff. But I mean,
we got our president tweets.
Trump should be the standard for no one. For no one.
But at the same time, we're being hard on him for using social media.
You're right.
But you got a guy who's in charge of the free world.
You're right.
Getting up in the morning.
Tweeting Homeland Security stuff.
I think a lot of the stuff with Waylon, a lot of it is him defending himself.
Yeah, you're right.
And the thing about politics is, it's hard to know who's telling the truth.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
Nobody.
It is.
Nobody.
But I seen it with the Joe with the remember he had the guns or whatnot, and I don't know if Waylon's saying that he was behind that.
He helped him do it.
Yeah.
He helped him do it, and I guess Joe was trying to say, well, nah, we had already, set this up and talked to the right people to make sure that we could get the guns in. And Waylon saying, nah, it was a stunt, and I helped pull it off. So, I would take Waylon's word because I've seen Joe's word, and I can't stand behind it.
Yeah.
So, but in the bigger scheme of things, I don't think, whether they got the guns there or not, I don't think that's a big issue. I think it's more about what are you going to do for the people of Petersburg? How are you going to help this city? We grew up here, man. We've seen this city, go from, we used to come to the mall when we was little, go to Walnut Hill Mall and all that stuff around here to now, it's sad when you come through here and look and see what the city's become, man. So I just want to see somebody get in here, can really help the city, is willing to, help, bring people back to the city and give back and do the good that they say they're going to do versus just talk a good game and not follow through on anything.
That was the issues, that I was going to ask before we had the Joe No Show. We was going to ask about that he said that he wants to revitalize Petersburg. And by revitalize, is that gentrification?
Right.
I think that's code for gentrification.
Yeah, definitely.
Because remember how they did Church Hill.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
How they still doing church?
Yeah.
Well, Churchill's done. It is
Churchill,
gentrified.
Jackson
Now it's
Ward,
South Side. Now is North Side. Now is, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, revitalization looks like because my background is in urban planning, so this is like you hit a hot button issue here. Where it's like revitalization is code for, we're going to build mixed income communities, but what that means is we're really going to displace the people who have been living here, struggling here for decades to make this area more attractive to white folk or professionals or like upper middle class people.
No, you had it right the
now.
first time. White
So
folk.
whether or not, I mean, we could though. I mean, black people can be gentrifiers.
Right.
That's
We
true.
can.
Right,
It's not. But in terms of who they're trying to attract, I agree.
Right.
Target audience,
I
if
think
you
the
will.
target audience. But I mean, whether or not that'll happen, because Petersburg, I think you just local government wide. There's just some issues. Whether or not, I think they have to get their house in order before that.
Some
can happen.
issues.
Yeah, I'm understatement.
Your water bill right, man?
I think before that can happen, that needs to. But I think that's code for we gonna kick the poor folk out and move who we want in.
We had Terrence Doctor on last night, as well as Tara Sampo. They're from Hopewell, and we talked about how they're going to year-round schools. How do y'all feel about that?
Year-round school?
Yeah.
I mean, my lady, she work at a school, and they do year-round school, so it's something that I kind of am used to, so to speak. So
No, where's this at?
it's in Richmond. We from Richmond, so I'm from Richmond. But she works at a school called UMFS, United Methodist Family Services.
Okay,
And so they have school all year round. Like right now, they're in school, obviously. And so that's something that I've become accustomed to since being with her. So I can see where the benefit is. I could also see where the downfalls are as well, because overworked students aren't as productive. But at the same time, too much idle time can get them in trouble too. So it's it's pros and cons to both sides of it, I think.
What he talked about is year-round school, but it's still the same amount of time out. Like they're just 6 months in the summer, and then they're breaking it down throughout the year. That's how they're doing it.
I guess they're doing it a little bit different than I've seen it other places. I know Chesterfield is doing it in a couple schools, and it's tough. I think it's like you said, it's good and bad to everything. But particularly with year-round school, like you have to figure out a way to the other resources and so forth that people are getting to help them, as they raise their kids. How is that coinciding with that year-round school? How is that working with the daycares and so forth? And you want the kids still to enjoy it. Like, you want to have a summer break.
Let's be honest.
And the thing I don't like the way how Chesterfield did it is some of the schools have it and some don't. So, like, your friends, Florida, and you're like, man, I gotta go back to school.
What's the emphasis behind transition just to make students better prepared? Is that the thought?
From what they said last night, they were talking about doing it for years, years on years. But parents were mad about it. But at the same time, they were talking about it for years. But by them not, going to the meetings
showing
or
up, yeah.
you know they weren't aware. So it's kind of like
Gotcha.
a slap in the face to them because.
So they're gonna do it regardless.
Oh yeah,
They already passed it, but I think they've seen that. A lot of times, particularly these low performing schools, you see kids come back from the summer, and it's like you take that whole
You never told them.
first, that whole first 9 weeks or whatever. You're trying to teach them what they should already know. So this is a way to try to get beyond that. But education's tough, man. I taught for 3 years. I put my 3 years in, and I was good.
And I was gonna say I don't have kids that I have to think about that yet, but I also don't want a full year of school to be a full year of like you're just prepping them for testing and SOLs. Because that is, I don't think
That's
productive
another big
either.
issue.
we talked about it last night.
You
We
know?
we think even especially with inner city schools, they need classes like credit.
Life class.
How to
it's
balancing
life
your
skills,
budget.
man.
Just like when we was in school, remember they started to take home ec out or whatever. Things like that.
Yeah, man. It's very important, man, that people understand that all kids can't be taught the same way, but there's some basic skills that all of education is really missing. Like you said, that credit, man. Really learning about, how to balance your checkbook. How does credit work? How do I build my credit? Those type of things, man. And schools just overlook it, man. We didn't have that class. Like, our business teacher went over it maybe for like a week and then kind of just forgot it. But, like, that should be a class.
Yeah,
man. You should
a
get
mandatory
that
class.
That economics class in high school right before you get to college, very important, because what do? You don't get that class and then you go to college and take out a loan for $60,000 for 4 years, and you automatically in debt, and you have no idea how credit works.
You learn credit by mistakes.
Exactly.
That's what it is going on.
I know I did.
Yeah, well, I said that because that's basically my story or whatever. Yeah.
I actually, when one of my previous employees, I was working in community relations, and it was a school in Las Vegas, man, that actually had a elementary school in a low income area. They actually partnered with a local credit union to set up what they called a piggy bank. So when you started in kindergarten, you could open up an account, and it could be for 2 cents. You open up that account, and every week, every Monday, it was Monday for kindergarten, Tuesday for first grade, and so forth. And every week, you get to go and deposit money. It could be just leftover change. And then by the time you get to 5th grade, you got to check for how much was in your account, man.
Wow.
And they said that it was amazing because it'd be parents that didn't even know how to write a deposit slip, and their kid was doing it, in elementary school. So the kids are teaching the parents how to write deposit slips, man. So it's little things like that, man, that you may not think is a big deal, but that stuff carries on, man, and that's the type of stuff you should be learning. Versus, I took calculus. I don't use calculus, man. I don't use that stuff.
And that's why and that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not against the idea of like kids being in school if it's productive. But if the time is just going to be spent again test prepping or teaching things that are like just irrelevant, especially to kids of color, black kids, like. How useful is that? How useful is that if I have spent, and are they proposing this for high schoolers too?
I think it's all of Hopewell.
Oh, it's all of Hopewell. Then I'm just like, if you're not teaching me something that's going to help me be better after I leave here, then
What's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
So we'll see. A lot of those schools, man, they just, like you said, teach them to pass the SOL.
That's it.
That's what they do.
That's
They
it.
teach to the test.
Yeah, man.
The
Sad.
racially biased test.
Yeah, say that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Make me think about Joe Clark.
Yeah.
That minimum basic skills, man.
Yeah.
Batman, as I like to call him.
I know.
Did y'all? I'm sorry,
No, I'm saying I don't know any principals like that anymore.
Joe Clark.
You can't have principles like that now, man. Parents too vocal.
Exactly.
Too much social media.
Parents wouldn't be on his side.
Yeah.
You have kids with the camera phone like he unlocked the door.
Yeah.
They got chains on the door.
His parents go to school. So why you got the megaphone for?
My son has sensitive ears. He can't hear him.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. This ain't gonna work.
So you gonna throw Sam's off the ledge? Huh? That's what we doing with my son.
Did you accuse my son of smoking crack?
Yo, this is random, man. But we was talking the other day, like Kid Ray. Like I didn't care for Kid Ray. When he got his ass whooped, I felt no type of way about
Me
that.
either.
I agree.
Like he had it coming.
Yeah, man. You know we had people like that at school, man. That you like. I wish somebody beat his ass.
I ain't gonna wish it on it, but if it happened, you know, I'm not gonna be mad
About
at it.
time. Like he had it coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, boy, I remember that day when the one got it. When he got it, I remember that day, boy.
Yeah.
This is before we're showing our age, but I actually remember it was a guy who brought a video camera to school. I don't know if you remember this guy, but yeah.
Oh, like
I'm talking about, and that's hard to hide compared to a cell phone. And there was a fight one day. He brought that joint out and was filming it. That's like the dopest shit ever.
Oh my
Y'all let school
God.
shoot smack DVDs and shit.
Yeah.
Star before Worldstar. That's crazy.
It was. So look, with the y'all keeping up with the Joe Biden thing with Miss Harris?
Yeah, Kamala. I didn't watch the debates. I was just telling Tony, I tend to not tune in. It's 150 candidates at this point. So I know for a fact I've been seeing snippets and stuff, but I probably won't tune in until it dwindles down to maybe.
She's catching a lot of flack because of the whole bus thing and, saying that was her, and not long after that she comes out with the t-shirts.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about that?
I mean,
I think that people are always going to be critical of a black woman.
they are. I think she didn't do herself any favors by putting those T-shirts out there, because then it really seemed disingenuous. With her, talking about the busing thing, and then people always question her, right or wrong, her blackness and her authenticity. But man, we as a people, black people, man, we harder on our politicians, people that's our color, than we are on the other side.
We are, and that's what I was getting on. I've seen a lot of our people, going in on her.
Yeah.
As compared to Biden, which I don't know what Biden did besides be Barack's vice president.
I mean, he's been in politics a long time.
Yeah.
Which to me, that's a reason why I'm like, it's just he's old, man. Yeah. I have an issue with him and Bernie Sanders, man, just because I'm sorry if I sound like a ageist or whatever, but
I'm gonna let you go before this disclaimer comes up. Quick.
Just the idea of somebody like if he wins, he's gonna be almost 80 years old, and then he wins a second, re-election. He coming up on 90.
Let's just be honest. You're scared he's gonna die.
I mean,
let's just go ahead and say
it could possibly happen.
You're scared he's
but
gonna die.
It's.
Is he up on the times?
Exactly. Yeah. Can somebody that old really relate to me and understand the issues that I have? If you 80 years old, I mean, you saw segregation. Yeah. You was there.
I think that's why they respect, because the things he's seen.
Right.
And you can respect
he was on the right
it.
side of it, though.
Yeah, I mean, but you can respect it, but also acknowledge that you need somebody. Like, I feel like the progressiveness then is a little different than like the progressiveness, like liberalism now. And so I think that's my one thing about him too. And again, going back to Kamala, I feel like people are being so granted she has stood for some things in the past, specifically around like criminal justice reform that did not do any good to, especially to like communities of color. Yeah. I'm 27, and maybe I need to be older before I say this, but I think we have all stood for or said some things about things that like we were half baked, and that's no excuse. But I think for people to constantly like hang that over her head and to delegitimize whatever, if that's a word, like what she is doing and what she's saying now, like I think that's BS.
It's pretty much saying that people can't change.
That's what I'm saying, and I don't believe that.
So that obviously what you just said, that's my issue with like the cancel culture of now. But at the same time, I'm 27 too, by the way. Shout out. Hey. The things that she supported and the things that she did in the past. Yeah. A lot of people my age, their parents, their fathers. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I put away for that. So it's hard to look past that and say, oh, well, what she's saying now might be all right. No, nigga, I didn't get to see my daddy for 20 years because you was on this bullshit.
Right. No,
so,
that's
it's kind of a...
That's fair.
I feel what you're saying. What you're saying is fair as well, though. Like I said, I get both sides of that.
Yeah.
You can't hold people accountable forever for something, but
you do have to hold them accountable. Yeah. I would love to be a fly on the wall at the DNC or something, because I can't imagine what politicians, like the long game they have to play, like the short-term decisions they have to make for the long game, if that makes sense. Like, Obama, my forever president, I'm sure he did things that, You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the right answer. But all I'm saying is I'm a forever stand for a black woman. So.
And I can respect that. It's just, I guess for me, it's one of those things where the reason that I don't really put any faith in any politician is because you can't be honest.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to change the way you look at things to appease the people that you're talking to at the moment.
Right.
That's true.
There's no honesty in that.
Right.
I'll never know how you really feel about me or what you really plan to do for me.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue I have. That's why I think everything that she's saying now, it can sound good.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but we don't believe you. You need more people.
Yeah, and again, people were impacted, like impacted by her decision.
From what I saw in the debates, I think they are going after each other too much, not attacking Trump enough.
Oh, they was on each other. They was on each other's ass.
And and to me, like, I would much rather see like somebody like Biden say, you know what? I'm a little older. I may be past my prime, whatever. Let me try to mentor some of these younger politicians, and endorse them. Like, pass the torch, man. I just feel like I said, keep coming back to it, man. We really trying to get to these millennials and people that haven't voted in the past, and I can't see somebody that's that old being able to relate to those people. You just have to look for a younger person, somebody that understands that perspective, and then have an older mentor there to like help guide them. Because right now, if you put up Trump versus Biden, it's two 70-year-old white men. Yeah. What's the difference there? You know, like, because you go back and look at some of the stuff Biden did in the past.
Exactly.
It's not too far off from what Trump did.
Now, I meant to read it more on it, but they were saying that with the segregation and the busing, now, was Biden working with those guys, or was he supporting that whole thing?
There was a couple segregationists that he said, I don't support what they were for, but they were good people. That type thing, you know.
Or the Trump verified people.
Yeah, good old Trump line.
And I think there was some, he actually didn't support busing, in which a lot of liberals back then, like, even black people didn't always support busing because they felt like you move kids into another neighborhood, you're taking away from our neighborhood.
Yeah.
That whether good or bad, I want my kids to go to school in our neighborhood and help our schools flourish. So I ain't necessarily saying that's a bad thing if you were against busing or whatever, but it's a way that you talk about that issue. I don't think he's talked about it well. I don't think he was prepared to talk about it. To me, when I looked at it, I feel like Joe felt like I could just show up. I'm Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Right, I was
Obama.
That's what I think
he's
he's
riding that way.
And that feels like...
because when she was going at him, like, throughout the whole debate, not only when she was going down, when other people come, he didn't really have answers, and I'm like, dude, were you prepared?
Right.
But see,
you have a right answer.
on the other side of it, does he have to be? How many black people are supporting him simply off the Obama wave? Let's keep it real.
Yeah, that's kind of like the Morrissey thing.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I know.
Came, got on a dirt bike.
Yeah, and now...
He Meek Mill to people.
Yeah.
And they forgot that he R. Kelly to people.
You say he Meek Mill.
He Meek Mill them and they forgot he R. Kelly. Lord mercy. My God. My God.
Oh.
I was last time when you brought him up when he was supposed to be on here next week. I kept my mouth shut. So I was like, he gonna be on here next week. I want him to hear something and not come, but since he didn't come anyway.
Man, I've been quiet. I've been quiet long enough, man.
Yeah.
Man, came in the hood popping willies.
Yeah.
Kissing babies.
Come on, man.
That's all.
Going to church? Going to black church?
Yeah.
You playing with God, my nigga? Come on, man.
You know how many times I saw the picture of him on a bike? Like
I came off the highway, and I was so surprised to see a big sign. Thanks, Morrissey.
Oh,
right.
right.
I was not expecting to see that.
Yeah, man. I seen posts with dudes like they ride or die.
Yeah.
Like he got hitters.
Well, see, look, I got a cousin, right? So they were having. You probably was in it, and I ain't look at it because I don't be on Facebook looking that much. But I got a cousin who they was having a big debate about it online, and his biggest thing was, well, I worked, like y'all said earlier, I worked at the court, and I've had my own issues, and I've seen how many people, he's gotten off, he's helped black men, blah, blah, blah. And so somebody else brought up the whole thing. So is that worth this other, like, what what do you put your value in?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Also, here's my thing. I think we need to acknowledge that at the end of the day, Joe Morrissey is a white man. So his ability to use his social and cultural capital to get those black men off is because he's had access to that all his life. That's not to say that if a black lawyer had access to that, they wouldn't be using it to do the same thing.
Same tools, same day, same argument, different results most likely.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade or whatever, but I mean, it's like, white man comes to the hood, it's like, oh, white man comes.
White savior, man.
Yeah.
White savior.
It's that white savior mentality.
Right,
Yeah.
and like he ain't doing nothing that probably Dance ain't did. I mean, she probably ain't did in a couple years, but she, she ain't been through here and had stuff for people and did it. But because Joe come and get on the bike now, it just amazes me that people can forget that he had a 17-year-old girl. He ain't built a family with her. Good, he stayed with her.
Is it good?
Right. But
When she gonna age out too, probably.
It's a low bar for us to set, man. It say, as long as you can get my boy out of jail,
Then
it's all right.
you got my vote, right, right.
Is it devaluing the black woman?
Right.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Here, you can take her.
Because, we was muting R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Well,
Some of it. But see,
I was.
the
R. Kelly who?
I did a joke about R. Kelly, and people, it was crickets.
Yeah.
It was a bad set.
I'll be honest with you though, and black women, I've seen more black women supporting R. Kelly than anybody. I really feel like, and please don't choke me.
No. It's okay.
Oftentimes, like for instance, the show. What was that show that all the black ladies was watching with the president?
Which one? Oh, a Scandal.
Yeah.
With Olivia Pope.
They have this like fantasy of that type of shit. I feel like Joe Morrissey is the physical embodiment of that here.
Oh, that's...
It's almost like the same thing. They picture that shit and like, I could be that too. I could be that arm candy, so to speak, to this powerful white man.
Yeah.
That's
I didn't even look at it like
subconsciously.
Interesting. It is because it's internalized racism.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at. It's not just his whiteness. It's his power.
Come on
It's
now.
his access to power. That is what people who have not had that are attracted to.
Now that sounds like going in Master's house.
That's exactly where I was about to take it next. That's why they look down on the other ones because he's treating. In reality, you're being slutted out, for the lack of a better term, but you look down on the darker one because you in the house and you might got a couple different things. You get the whole chicken wing, she get the bone.
Right. Because had Joe been, Jimmy, and not a politician, he wouldn't have.
They would have been taking him up for statutory rape or something.
He should be in jail.
Exactly. That's exactly what that
and I'm
been.
pretty sure moms wouldn't have been okay with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you see, Pops ain't having it.
Oh yeah, Pops like my pops. Ain't going down like that.
Pops ain't having that shit.
Yeah.
So.
Charlottesville, you remember the neo-Nazi guy?
Oh, I saw that earlier.
Who ran into the crowd of people and then tried to play victim.
Yeah.
Play that role.
As they do.
Got life.
Yeah. Life in prison.
Yeah.
So that means, taxpayers are taking care of him the rest of his life.
Yep.
Damn, you fucked up. You fucked
You're
me
right.
up
When
with
you
that.
added that,
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Well,
You fucked me up with that one.
As long as they put him in Gen Pop and
He's not. I know that off top. He's not going to Gen 5.
see,
Solitary,
that's my issue, man. Like he should be
Let
put
him
him in there. Let the boys just
let him
get
get
at
what he
him.
earned.
I think that would make these people think even more about the shit that they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you going to Gen Pop.
Yeah.
You mess with these little kids, running into people in the crowds, yo, you going to Gen Pop. And they really stretched that trial out.
Yeah.
They really stretched it out. I mean, how much evidence do you need?
Yeah.
It's literally on camera.
Yeah.
It's literally on camera.
But once again, very fine people.
Yeah.
Very fine people
How
on
much
both sides.
On both sides. I think we've seen plenty that film means nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Film don't mean a damn thing these days.
Yeah. Not for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, taxpayers are paying, but I don't know. What do you think he's going to be in solitary the
Damn,
whole
you
time?
fucked me up with that one.
Yeah.
Or you think he's going to be in like a C-suite?
I don't see him. I don't see him in the Gen Pop.
What's gonna happen is they might put him in Gen Pop when he first get there. Then he gonna tell him he fears for his safety. Then he gonna be put in solitary and have a therapist come to him every week.
Unless they send him somewhere where they got a lot of neo-Nazis there.
Yeah. Though, but
He still could catch
Is it
that
only
work,
me
though.
that hearing that it just still doesn't feel like enough? Like, it still feels like, okay, this one white neo-Nazi man is going to jail. Yeah, Dylan Roof went to jail, but he was given a burger before then. Like, it still feels like
I don't even.
out of all of...
What did he have? What do you think he got it, bro? I mean, this is random, but what do you think he got?
He
A
had to
Whopper?
get that
Did
2
they
for
give him
6
a
Whopper.
Whopper?
They had the
Yeah.
2 for 6. He had to get that 2 for 6.
You think he got a spicy chicken?
You think so?
He got the 2 for 6.
I don't think he. I don't think it was a dollar menu. They probably
He
looked out
probably
for
got a
him.
whole meal
Probably
because
got
they were
cheese
like,
and bacon
this
and
is gonna
everything.
be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Probably
probably
has,
got
you want fries or onion rings? They probably get
Yeah.
choices.
With the zesty sauce.
Yeah.
Probably condiments and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably did.
I can't understand, like, as a cop, like, you really, like,
Yo,
It
fuck
would,
that.
it would
Yeah.
never happen to any of
that
y'all.
crossed your mind and,
Fuck
like,
this. I don't give a fuck if you're hungry. Like, yo, you know.
Stop!
I know you just killed, a whole church,
just-
but
Let me pull up. You ain't gonna get a chance to get
can't.
hungry, man. Nigga. You finna eat all 17 of these.
Yeah.
Real quick.
it's crazy,
I wonder
man.
what was going through the cop's head. Like, I can't even imagine.
You know what?
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
To him, they saw a young white male, and he said, well,
In a crisis.
Yeah, I just can't. This could be my son, And they don't
Mental
look at us like that.
illness.
They don't look at us like
He's
that.
mentally ill.
I mean, shit, look at the opioid crisis versus the crack epidemic.
We spoke on that last night. It's like, they was throwing 20 plus at us.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we look at the dog that in Richmond that got killed.
Come on, man. Yeah.
What's the name? The pit.
I know what you're talking about.
like
Yeah.
The pit.
man, you
News
thought-
stories for days.
news stories for days, but then it never came to anybody's conscience that maybe the black kid, maybe something wrong with him. For you to do that to a dog, like you off a little bit to me.
I blame Kurt Archer for that.
I blame Kurt Archie for a whole lot.
I'm not a Kurt fan, man. I'll let
Thank
you know.
Finally, somebody
you don't
from the
follow
news.
Kurt Archer?
Good. You
Channel
a
12,
good black
Channel
woman.
12.
I'm not a fan, though. I think this is me, Snuff Magee.
I'm probably
But
gonna
I
agree with
think
everything
you remember when Dave Chappelle said he felt like they weren't laughing with me, they was laughing at me.
you said. Oh, he's definitely doing that.
He's laughing at us.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I
think
feel.
so?
Yeah, because he's pro-Trump. He'll put stuff out with Trump. He doesn't put anything out with the cop killings. He supports the cops. All he does is he puts supportive cop statuses up.
Yeah.
Anything bad with that, he doesn't. Only white people you talk about are the meth heads.
Yeah.
The poor white trash.
Yeah.
You know?
The ones that they don't care about anyway.
Yeah, the ones they don't care about. He says a few slang, how you doing, or
Couple
all
Medea
that.
lines.
Yeah, he's laughing at us,
Yeah,
man.
it's
I'm not a fan.
It's a gimmick.
And see,
Yeah.
that's one of the problems that I have with our people as a whole. Like, we're inclusive to a fault. All you have to do is be able to do a dance move, know a slang term that we use, or wear a certain outfit, and you invited to the
Yeah,
cookout. Like, we fuck with you. Like,
Yeah.
like that's
He
not
said
okay.
he said Cardi verse, and he's got the clout.
Yeah.
The bare minimum. I always say, like, and this is not to pit, like, black people against Latinos, against Asians, but I do think that, like, when I look at those communities, they are very, very, like, close-knit, where they are shopping at their own grocery stores if they can. They're, like, supporting each other, and I just sometimes feel like we don't do that in the same way.
I hate to say this, but I mean they weren't told to hate each other either.
Right.
This is true.
It goes,
This is true.
It goes back to, slavery, man. Like we were dependent upon another race of people. We looked to them for everything, so we weren't able to build our community and our, the infrastructure and so forth like those communities were. They came over here for the most part voluntarily. We were bought over here, as slaves. So though that camaraderie, that sense of community, our people just don't have as a full race of people.
It's almost like to me at least. It's almost like so you had a kid that grew up without a father. And everything that they're doing is trying to gain. Usually, I'll use a woman in this case, trying to gain a man's approval. We're still subconsciously trying to gain their approval while these other groups of people are focusing on themselves.
Right.
Everything we do is to please our master to this day still.
I just think, okay, so I agree, but I also think that we forget that in addition to being brought to the United States, black people were dropped off in other places, including like South American countries and like the African diaspora. So we're not the only ones struggling from this, like wanting to be judging ourselves based on our position to whiteness. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, very fair,
because
very
I mean, Latino community struggle from colorism and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So I get your point, but I think like psychologically, anybody who was ripped from their country and brought, whether it's to the U.S. or whether it's to Brazil or whatever that looks like, we're still and immigrated here. We're still suffering from like those issues. So
with the I had a conversation with a guy a few weeks ago. The American dream still exists for immigrants because they come over here and they don't look at America the way a black man does.
That's the like milk and honey.
Because with all the oppression that we've endured, we always got, whether in the front or the back, that somebody's going to try to hold us back. And I'm not just talking about a white man. The crabs in the barrel, it exists.
Yeah, very much so.
So the American dream is real. Yeah. But it's just totally different for us, and it's just something that you can't deny that.
No, I 100% agree. Boy, you about you on it.
I have a rebuttal, but I can't formulate it quick enough to present it back to you. Yeah. I guess I'm not as articulate.
Yeah, that's the Pee Wee Herman word. Hey, did y'all see this week with Juneteenth, something that Google didn't celebrate?
Yeah.
And the guy that created the
hire him.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real.
Is it? Do they really?
It really is. Yeah.
I'm like, Google has been doing so much work around their diversity, equity, and inclusion the last few years. How did they miss that? Yeah, how did they miss they celebrate every other holiday, Taco Day, whatever, but I don't know how they missed that.
For the record, this gonna sound like some bullshit.
What?
Because it sounded like bullshit when I read it.
What?
But because I looked it up, I was thinking the same. Like, how the fuck do y'all miss this? Like Flag Day, all that other stupid shit. Y'all put something up. But basically, what they were saying is people. It's not something that Google does specifically. People present these ideas like, let's say it is Taco Day or Flag Day or whatever. Somebody sends them, hey, use this. They didn't have anything. No,
because you know why I think Google didn't do it? Because they looked at it as being controversial. Although,
once again, bullshit.
Although with the
bullshit beforehand,
with the Pride, the Pride events are stronger than ever.
Yeah.
I'll sit this one out.
It would probably. I should say it's probably about 4 or 5 brothers and sisters sitting in that Google meeting, and they was like, "You gonna present it, ain't you?
You gonna do it?
Yeah, you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Got there, and nobody did it.
Which is, but that's how that goes sometimes.
Well, luckily the brother got a job.
Yeah,
I even saw that the kid that I should say young brother that did that meme with the boy looking out the window.
Yeah. Who put him on? Somebody was.
I think he gonna be going to work at Warner Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, do cartoons and stuff, man, which is awesome, man.
Yeah, that was some great. They had some great ones.
Yeah, that one that's been going for a minute. Like I see a new one every couple of weeks. To I can understand.
I thought it was a cartoon I had never seen or whatever. It's so many now.
It's
man.
true. That's the beauty of social media. I'm glad when people use it for that. Like it's putting people on people jobs and stuff. Like that's dope.
That's if we realize that we literally control what is popular, what is cool, what is accepted. We control all of that. We do it, then get pushed out of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, this is okay. You guys are saying this is okay. All right, let us take it. Fuck you, but we're gonna go ahead and do this.
It is. It's co-opted. That's
Sadly, man, we don't control the gates, man. Like we can provide the content, but the gatekeepers, are not us. You know. So
well, with that being said, let's shout out Tyler.
Yes.
The Tyler Perry, the BET Awards.
Oh, yes. That speech was everything.
Yeah. You said build your own table.
Build your own table. So, you know what? I was having, and this has been on my heart for a while because 2016.
We'll get to Kelly in a second.
Wait, wow.
I know what you're thinking.
What are you thinking? Can you go first?
We talked about Tyler Perry last time I was here.
Well, let her go. Then I'll give you your speech.
I have nothing to say. Go ahead.
Oh, gosh.
I said it last time.
What was I saying?
I'm sorry.
See, you didn't.
We were talking about build your own table, and I've been thinking about this for a while because 2016 Solange came out with that album.
Fantastic album.
Phenomenal album.
Shout out Raphael Sadiq.
And everybody who was involved in that project, and I just feel like that term has been taken, and people have run with it, not realizing that what she was really talking about. And if you read interviews, she said we've always had a seat at the table, maybe not their table. But we've had our own table. You know what I mean? And I think that when you talk about I think that sometimes when we hear that term, it's like, oh, I have a seat at this table. I am now in the room, but that doesn't mean you vocalizing there should be a Juneteenth Google thing.
Right.
So just because you have a seat at the table, it doesn't necessarily give you power to make decisions or to do anything.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to throw that out.
One of those affirmative action spots.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas I think what Tyler Perry was saying was, no, I own all of this.
Exactly.
Like,
Fuck their table.
Fuck their table.
Yeah.
I own all of this. I can decide, and I'm gonna bring you to this table, and I'm gonna allow you to make the decisions.
Yeah, and that's the key, man. Is you get a seat at the table now? Are you use your voice?
Right.
Because I ain't been at the table and just
But they're not gonna let you. You're gonna be at the table all you want to.
Right.
You ain't get to talk at the table.
You gotta find your point. I mean, you gotta step up and be willing to talk, man.
Fuck that table.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Forgive me if I'm quoting the wrong person, but I'm not even gonna say who I think said it. But integration is one of the worst things that ever happened to black people.
Yeah. A lot of people said that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
my thing, like where you going with that? It's like when people get money and then they want to go to your short pumps or your Midlothians or your places like that instead of putting it back into the community.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword too because with the whole Nipsey situation that just went down.
Right.
So,
Right. Like I'll push back a little bit and say I don't think I want to be in a place where we feel like it's either us or them. I've been fortunate enough that we grew up, man. We had all of our little cliques and our groups, man. But I was in a space where I was friends with white kids, friends with the black kids. I didn't feel I had to sacrifice my blackness to be with the white kids. And I think that's the key, is that don't feel like you have to sacrifice who you are in order to fit in with these
Did you
people.
always feel that way though? Was that a process for you?
You grow up, you get smarter, you understand it, man.
First of all, look. Tony was always the cool cat. Don't get
I
that shit
can
twisted.
tell a little bit. I can tell.
It don't matter if it was black or white. They wanted to be around him. So,
But see, this is. But you said the key right there, though. That's my biggest thing with that. Nothing's wrong with that at all. I have white friends, all that good type of shit. But like you said, they wanted to be around him. We get so in our feeling when someone doesn't want us around. You don't have to want me.
Yeah.
If you don't want me, I can have my own.
Right.
And the people, black, white, whatever they are,
That's
who want to be a part of it, you're more than
we are
welcome.
part of it.
exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think what he's getting at is I feel like I think our generation is moving more out of it, but we are constantly, and we've been taught to, the conversation we had about going to the PWIs, we have been taught to compare ourselves to where we are in relation to whiteness, right? And we're realizing that that's we're good, and you can be a part of this, but we're also good if you're not a part of this. So I think I 100% agree. So it's not that I'm saying, oh, I want my own table to be divisive. It's more like I want my own table, and you can invite me to yours, but just know that if you don't, I'm okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't need that validation.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, don't get, what I said was the extremist version of it, but that's the
I think it's a process, man. I think as you get as I've gotten older, I've understood that I don't have to make that sacrifice, man. I've seen people of that look like me, same background, be successful and not have to sacrifice that, and that has made me feel, give me more of self-confidence to be like, I'm going to go in there, I ain't going to cut my hair, I'm going to grow my beard, and I'm going to dress the way I want to dress, and this is me. My ideas are still the exact same despite how I look, you know, because, you younger, you come out of college, they tell you, this is how you should dress this way, look this way, you want to move up, this is what you got to do, and I got to a point in my career where I was like, I ain't going to do that no more. I ain't going to do that no more.
Same for me. I mean, I feel like if you would have caught me straight out of University of Richmond, I had my straight weave in my hair, I had, you know what I mean, because I was working in corporate America, and I don't know when it shifted, but I was like, who gonna tell me braids are not professional?
Right.
I'm the same Mariah. I'm doing the same work.
Right.
I'm, but I agree. Once we start showing up as ourselves, it gives permission to everybody behind us to say, "Oh, she's successful. He's successful. He got locks. I'm good." You know what I mean? So I think that representation and just seeing that is so important.
It's very
I feel all of that. But my locks is based on This is the last ride, man. This before,
Wait, what that mean?
this the last before it fall out. We trying it.
But
This the last ride, man.
I fell victim to that shit myself. Though I had locks for 11 years until I was like 23. And I was like, man, I want a better job, all that type of shit. You know, all that shit played in the back of my mind. Cut my hair. Did I get a better job? Yeah. Fucking hated that job, though.
Exactly.
Financially, it was better, but I fucking hated that job. So I moved around a little bit, and the biggest thing was like, I don't feel like me, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Authentic,
Right.
Exactly.
Authentic, man.
And so here we are now, you know.
Yeah.
I'm back, but I regret ever doing that shit.
You're coming back fast, man.
I-
I'm
yeah,
You
jealous.
got a little late.
Yeah.
You got a little hang
It
time.
ain't been nothing but a year, and
See?
I'm out here in these
There you
streets.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
What's your regimen? What products you use?
He's 27. That's his regimen.
I use Haiti, the Haitian in my blood. Pumps his hair out my
Fruits and berries.
yeah, you know, aboulet, you know, that's what we do.
Okay.
So I use that, and that keeps me, you know, flowing.
I got you, Wycliffe.
I won't. I'll never. My hairline don't recede.
That's what's up, man. Like I said, this is the last ride. I'm enjoying it, man. Like I said, I wanted to do it for a while. You know, me working on cars back in the day, just a lot of the sweating and all that stuff would always deter me for doing it. But now I'm just enjoying it.
How long have you had them?
This is almost 3 years
Okay,
now.
okay.
So I'm making it through the summers. That's the hardest part.
Whew, boy, you ain't never lied. Wait till they get, like I told, my shit was. You saw the pictures. Keisha showed you the pictures. My shit was. Woo.
They hot.
Boy, that back get the sweating when the fan hangs, man. Shit.
I think it goes back, man, to we talked about, you know, older generation, like our parents' generation, man. They kind of looked down upon some of the stuff that, you know, we wanted to do. I know when I was younger, you know, I told my dad I want to get cornrows. I ain't get no cornrows.
Right.
You don't get a good job. You don't have that type of stuff, man. And then I even went through it with my kids, man. Like my son, my oldest son, I want to get, you know, I want to get locks, and I was like, I don't want to see that Chief Keef shit in the house, man. But I was like, you know what, man, he young, man, and let him do him, man. He feel good about it, you know. That's what gives him self confidence, and so be it. And he get him done professionally. He keep it up, man. That's what it's all about, man. So like I've come around to like being comfortable with that, man. Yeah. It's all about progression, man, and I think it's a good thing that, you know, with the whole, it took a lot for us to get to this spot, but like, you know, with all the stuff that had happened over the past 6-7 years, you know, Black Lives Matter and stuff, we have become more comfortable in our blackness, man. We are pushing back against, you know, that, you know, the whiteness of corporate America and culture, in so many, you know, aspects of life, man, that I think we are definitely comfortable in being us.
Do you think sports has played a big factor in that?
I would say so. Personally.
I'm not going to say sports. I'm going to say certain figures within sports.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a lot of LeBron haters out there. But I will say this.
And his whole family.
I was just stretching.
Oh, okay, I got you. But the thing about a lot of them hate him, the stuff on the court.
Yeah.
Everything off the court, I haven't heard anybody say anything,
He's
bad.
doing good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a Lakers fan, so I gotta like him now.
You gotta love that. I mean, you gotta like that brother. You gotta love him.
You should. But no, if we don't keep it real, you should love him for the things that he's doing.
Because, man, for to be that young, that much exposure for your life, and this cat, man, you can't find no dirt on him. You ain't tried it, and the worst dirt you can get on is stuff his mom was doing.
Or only dirt on him is like when he did the decision press conference.
Yeah.
Something silly, you know, that's not even important.
just him, his family, what he's using his platform for, the shop,
gotta
like
love
all
it,
of
man.
that
You
is
make other
just
black
so
men rich.
dope.
I can't be mad at
And
that.
now,
Yeah,
you know,
and he is.
Uncle Ruckus, a.k.a. Jason Whitlock, you know.
Hey, fuck you, Jason Whitlock. I don't care if those views are shared by anybody. Fuck you.
He's taking shots at Braun because, you know, he's saying the N-word on HBO and all this and that. And
Come on, man. I just don't understand that, man. Like, how can you hate this guy, man? Like, I mean, first off, the brother didn't even said, I ain't gonna sign with no big age. I'm gonna take my boys from home, let them make money. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about,
And
man.
now they're trying to say, oh, they're manipulating the league.
Hey, in all fairness, they are manipulating the league, but I'm not mad at that.
They're taking
In the same
control
way
of their
that people
careers.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not mad at it though. They are doing it, but I'm
Like,
not
look
mad.
how
They're
Boston-
recognizing their power and they're saying, "Oh no, y'all not gonna continue to pimp me out."
Especially because I'm a Lakers fan. I'm really proud of them right now.
Look how Boston did Isaiah Thomas, man.
Right.
Remember his sister had just passed away.
Yeah.
Oh, and they made him come.
He played in the playoffs, got hurt.
Ball.
And then let him go.
Ball before he got
Yeah,
hurt.
got hurt, and then they just like he won't nothing. Then Paul Pierce silly ass when
Paul Pierce,
when they wanted to do the tribute video for Isaiah Thomas, it was on Paul Pierce night. Like they was gonna put his jersey in the rafter. Which was like a whole halftime show.
Yeah, whatever.
The whole Isaiah Thomas was gonna be like a little 5 minute.
I'm about to say
video.
like a 5-minute joint.
Paul Pierce like, nah, this is my night.
You're not Paul Pierce. In the words of Draymond Green,
Oh, shitty Paul Pierce.
you not Kobe. They don't love you like that. They don't love you like
Thank you,
that.
Kobe.
Snuff Magee. Irrelevance.